Boom, we are live. Welcome into the DFS Huddle. Kyle Provines, Eric Toft. We're going to go over some preseason week 2 DFS. Now, it's a 2-game slate on a Friday. I don't even know how many people will watch this. And of course, it's preseason DFS. So always keep that in mind when you're rewatching this, when you're playing this. Don't go too crazy because there's a lot of shit that happens. I want to thank you, everyone watching already. Please like, subscribe, follow on Twitter, all that good shit. Share it out with your friends. Let everyone know DFS is back. DFS Bachelor, we're back. We're doing DFS all year long. Eric, my man, we had a pretty decent week 1. Some hits, some misses. Week 2 is a little bit different. Do you approach anything different here? I actually found it, I don't know about you, harder to get some of the team's information and plans for this week than I did last week for whatever reason.
I agree 100%. It was really hard for me to kind of like see who's going to be playing. I had to do a deep Twitter dive. And then again, you're relying on guys on Twitter and you don't really know like which reporters are in the know and which not. But I mean, the Falcons, for them, they've been very adamant, no Cousins, no Penix. So, you know,
Cousins is in the air. Now Cousins is in the air. They haven't said for tonight. He may, I don't know why he would, but I don't think he is, but they didn't say for sure. Because they don't, for whatever reason, these fucking coaches in preseason, explain this to me. Like, why are you trying to be so fucking coy? What are you trying to accomplish by these games don't count? You're just trying to figure out who belongs on the roster and who doesn't. Can you explain it to me? Because I just find it obnoxious and fucking stupid and petty and dumb. Like,
the thing I hate the most, like, I don't know if you watch Quarterback from Netflix.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's good. Yeah.
We all thought that Cousins was benched. In that show, you find out he legitimately had an arm injury, like a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where was that? You know, it's like this whole thing from the NFL just not doing a better job disclosing injuries, disclosing who's going to play. Because if they're going to embrace the gambling industry.
Right. Absolutely right.
You have documentation of who's playing because that's a big thing that drives everything.
Yeah, no, they want all the gambling money, but then they want to shit on gambling. And we saw this bill that came out that the fucking Senate Republicans pushed through that's going to fuck over gamblers with the tax, taking away the 100%. So you have to pay tax on your losses and cripple you if you actually do well in gambling. It's a lot of bullshit. And they want to take all the money, but then they want to fuck us over. And they do this in baseball too. Like they don't announce a pitcher and it's, competitive advantage. Fuck you. Then don't collect money on people gambling on it. Plain and simple.
Then I don't know if you know what's going on here in Illinois. In Illinois, DraftKings and Fanduel announced that for every wager you make, they're going to charge you 50 cents.
Right. I heard about this. Yeah.
So, and now you got Circa, who just entered the market, Hard Rock, who just entered the market, Bet365, who just entered the market. I mean, I think for where I am in Illinois, it's actually going to drive those places out.
Yeah, you're going to go offshore. You're going to go to the Bet Onlines, the Bet US's, why wouldn't you?
I'm going to go back to the offshore. You know, it doesn't make any sense for me to be like doing all this claiming with the IRS stuff. I'm just going to be doing all offshore stuff like I used to do back 10 years ago.
Yeah, my advice to people who don't want to deal with this tax bullshit that they're trying to pass through, that they've already passed. I know there's some Congress people, some bipartisan support to get this over. But if you don't want to deal with it, go offshore. It's a little inconvenient. My suggestion would be get a little bit of crypto. Offshore bookies will give you really good crypto bonuses. It's easier to get your money. So if you're dealing with that shit in Illinois, if you're dealing with, all the shit, offshore is going to have to be where it's at. We'll just take the money offshore. And I don't know. This is the fucking stupidity of our fucking government. No matter which side, by the way, both sides are absolute fucking morons, crooked pieces of shit. I don't care. Republican, Democrat, they're all garbage. Every single fucking one of them. You can't tell me any different. It's so weird to me, people, and this is the kind of shit they do to us. But again, offshore would be the way, sort of that stuff. We're going to talk some DFS. So we got a 2-game slate tonight. We've got the Falcons hosting the Titans, and we've got the Chiefs going into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. At quarterback, we'll start at quarterbacks here and just like a little bit of the news. So Michael Penix I don't know if you saw this on CBS yesterday. Michael Penis Jr. Did you see that? They messed up the typing on. I had to look in to see if it was. I thought it was maybe fake or something, but apparently they legitimately did call him Michael Penis Jr. It was pretty goddamn funny. But he's not going to play. Again, the Kirk Cousins thing's in the air. I doubt he plays. It looks like it's going to be pretty much a repeat of last week, that game that was stopped early in Detroit because of injury. It's going to be Easton Stick and Emory Jones. I think Stick will probably still do the majority of the snaps. Patrick Mahomes, what up? DFS Whispers, we appreciate you guys. And again, if you have questions, whatever, a player you want to talk about, put it in the chat box. We'll get to it. Mahomes is likely not going to play. Of course, Andy Reid has to be very coy about his preseason plans because fucking Andy Reid. God, he's annoying. I cannot wait till this asshole retires, but that's for another day. But him, his shitty kids. Andy Reid's shit. His kids are shitty. Anti-Andy Reid. He's just annoying when it comes to this stuff, but probably not going to see Mahomes and the starters. If you do, very, very little. So it's going to be, and the thing with Andy Reid, I'm pretty much anti all Chiefs outside the tight end position. He's going to play a ton of guys. Everyone's going to get to play.
Yeah.
So you're going to see Bailey Zappi, Gardner Minshew, some other kid, I can't remember his name, for Kansas City. And then for Seattle, and Tennessee are both going to play their starters for a couple of drive or two. Cam Ward will start and play a little bit, and Sam Darnold will make his preseason debut and play a little bit for Seattle. I do like the Seahawks first quarter for that reason. If you're looking to make a wager on it, I like Seahawks first quarter. That's sort of the situation we have there. So looking at quarterbacks, who are you trying to build your lineups around tonight? How would you have them ranked?
For me, it seemed like a no-brainer. I went Mr. Easton Stick. Morris announced that Penix, and when I read it said no Kirk Cousins. When we were talking beforehand, you said Cousins may play, but I really don't think he is. I think he's going to see significant snaps potentially. Would it surprise you if he played into the fourth quarter? I wouldn't. I think this guy's going to get a lot of runs. Yeah. Easton Stick. He has the highest potential for passing yards, touchdown, may even mix in some rushing yards. We have to remember for the Titans, no Jeffrey Simmons. They're going to be using other guys on the defensive line. So already he's going to be going up against second or third stringers coming off a performance against the Lions where he went 15 of 18 for 149 yards and a touchdown, potentially even playing more now against, I don't want to say less tier players, but against second and third stringers. To me, Easton Stick has the highest floor, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's going to. Now, what do you say to, look, Cam Ward and Sam Darnold are going to start, and these teams typically want to see success before they take them out, right? They want to see a touchdown drive or something. And sometimes in these little 2-game preseason where you get a lot of people playing, we're going to talk running backs in just a minute, and I think we're all thinking the same thing here. One touchdown pass or a rushing touchdown by Cam Ward could be any reason to take that. And for you people playing DraftKings, they don't even have. So the Titans let Tim Boyle go. So the only 2 quarterbacks they have listed that are active, Cam Ward and Brandon Allen. But they also do have Trevor Siemian on their roster, and he's available on the Fanduel slate. I don't know why he's not available here on the DraftKings slate. But for those 2 teams, Seattle, Tennessee. So you've got the backups. You've got Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe for Seattle, Brendan Allen, and obviously Trevor Siemian. Any interest in either of those backups? Would you rank them? Is there?
Obviously, yeah, I think Milroe is going to get some extended look. My big thing with Seattle is I think with how their schedule lines up, they potentially need to be thinking in the back of their head, are we going to give Milroe the keys to the castle because they have an out from the Sam Darnold contract? So with that being said, if they're able to get some success early, I think we could see Milroe have extended run into the fourth, and you have that rushing upside. So if I were going to pivot and go to a different quarterback, it would be Easton. From Stick, it would be to Milroe. My worry in that game is when I was looking at the forecast, it seems like it's going to be wet, and there's this trend about 9 of the last 10 games that Seattle has played a preseason game have gone to the under.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it gets tough. The rushing upside of Milroe's there, but I didn't see he was fine in his game last week, but he didn't play a ton, and they sort of just ran the ball a lot, right? They let him throw it a little bit. He had the one long run where he looked fast. I just don't know that they're like Easton Stick. They didn't even, Falcons just said, the hell with the run. We're going to let this kid throw fucking 18 times. He's just throwing it all over the place. Not really getting the end. And Easton Stick does have that rushing upside. So, yeah, I got Easton Stick ranked 1. I'm with you. I'd probably go Milroe. And then I guess I'm coming back to Emory Jones, and then I'm getting into maybe Gardner Minshew. If I'm going to play one chief, it's probably Minshew over Bailey Zappi. I think they'll probably try to get Minshew ready, right? They like to have the backup, so maybe a little bit more Gardner Minshew, but that's it. Andy Reid's going to play a ton of guys. Anything else at quarterback before we move on?
No, I mean, I would try not to get cute at quarterback.
Agreed. Let's get to running backs here. And this is pretty much a position that can make or break you, essentially, in this. If you got the touchdown guys, you're going to cash. If you don't get the touchdown guys, you're not going to cash, essentially. Who are you looking at running back-wise? Again, you're going to see a little bit of – I don't know that you'll see Kenneth Walker for Seattle. He's been dealing with a foot injury.
He's out. Walker's out tonight.
Walker's out, so you'll probably see a little bit of Zach Charbonnet because they're playing the starters. And then it's going to get to these backups. And in my lineup, I got 2 Seattle running backs. I played George Halani, who went under my radar last week, and Jacardier Wright, who I think if Jacardier Wright doesn't make the Seahawks roster, there should be teams beating down the door to get Jacardier Wright. Then they have Damian Martinez as well, the rookie out of Miami. A lot of options there, but I think Halani and Wright are the 2 guys I'm going to focus on. And again, a Zach Charbonnet rushing touchdown on the first drive is not out of the question here. What do you think running backs overall? Right now I'm focusing on Seattle running backs. Is there, out of the Seattle backs, who do you like? And are there some other guys you're looking to play this week?
Well, I started with Mullings, a kid from the Titans. Spears is dealing with an ankle injury. I don't think he's going to go. Pollard's going to see, 1 drive, maybe 2. Then this opens the door for Mullings. He's competing for the 3rd string running back role, received a significant workload against the Falcons, led the Titans with 7 carries for 33 yards. And then I went with the guy that he's competing with. I went with Chestnut from the Titans, poised for a substantial role against the Falcons. In the preseason opener, had 6 for 25. These 2 guys are battling out, and they need to figure out who that 3rd stringer is going to be.
I love that look.
Especially with Tyjae Spears dealing with that ankle injury that may linger into the preseason. Tony Pollard being 29. Need to get that role organized. And Bill Callahan, who top 3 offensive line coach, is with the Titans. As much as everyone wants to hype up Ward, in my eyes, this is always going to be a run first team. And they're going to lean on the run. Those 2 are going to battle it out. So I did those 2. And then the 3rd one, I just did the same thing as you, but I went with George Halani, out. Did better than Martinez. Both of us were on Martinez last week for the Seahawks, with Walker being managed carefully due to the minor foot injury, and Charbonnet locked into the 3rd running back role, probably only going to play a series or 2. Halani, I think he's going to see substantial playing time against the Chiefs, especially in the second half. Also was efficient in the preseason opener. He outperformed Martinez in touches and production despite fewer carries. You also have the potential of rain and weather. So, look, I think he's just going to be in line for a huge line. So I went with him. And this is my thought process, and I could be wrong. With him outperforming Martinez, won't you give him the ball a little bit more so he can see what he can do with a bigger workload? Just because at the end of the day, the Kubiak system is going to be a run-first system. So if Walker, who has an injury history, Charbonnet, who really doesn't do well in zone running, don't you want to see what you have with this kid? Maybe you have something with this kid. So I like him out of the Seattle running backs. So I went with the 2 Tennessee guys and Halani from Seattle.
Yeah, and Tony Pollard rushing touchdown in that it was the only touchdown they scored, I believe, last week in their preseason opener. That might be enough. Let's talk Falcons running backs just for a second. Last week we sort of got ooped by Casey Washington Jr. He's still listed 3rd on the depth chart. He's hurt, probably not going to play in this one. Excuse me. Obviously, you're not going to see Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. I'll be surprised if Algier plays. There's a little – hold on, let me see this update right here. Yeah, I doubt Algier plays. So then you got Nathan Carter. Excuse me, I don't know. It's allergy season. Elijah Dotson, who led him in carries last week. But Tennessee's run D looked awful Tampa Bay ran all over him. So I wonder if you maybe go a little bit underowned. I have some exposure to Dotson, maybe some Nathan Carter. Any thoughts on the Falcons running backs?
I mean, I would definitely look to go to Carter. I think Carter is going to get the bulk of the run there. And how can I word this? Atlanta really didn't run the ball more. You know what I mean? Are they just going to let Stick just kind of sling it? That's the thing. So that'd be my one worry there.
I love those Titans play. I think I'll probably swap out Dotson for Mullings. I like Chestnut and Mullings. Both those guys should see quite a bit of work today. Let's go to wide receivers. Again, another make or break type of position. There's going to be this one guy like, what's his name? Chris Blair for Atlanta last week. It's just out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. What are you looking at wide receiver before I give my thoughts? Who are a few guys you're taking a look at? Maybe stack with Easton Stick. I know both of us like Dylan Drummond, 8 catches last week in the first preseason game.
Yep, 8 touches, 8 targets, led the team, had strong chemistry with Stick. I think with Stick getting the majority of the touches, he's going to go to the guy he has the biggest connection with. You know what I mean? You're going to look for the guy you trust coming off a game where the Falcons threw the ball more than they ran it. And him leading in targets. I absolutely love Dylan Drummond. Then this is where I get a little bit off the beaten path. I went with Torrey Horton from Seattle.
Yeah. He's going to be heavily owned. I think he'll be 60% owned tonight. Torrey Horton.
Listed as the 3rd receiver on the depth chart. I think he's going to go get a lot of reps. JSN, Cooper Kupp, they're not going to play, or if they do play, it's not going to be that much.
Yeah, they're starting the game, but after that, they're going to be out. They're starting the game, but
led them. Three catches, 31 yards, and a touchdown, 7 targets. For me, targets always equal opportunity for me. So if you're getting 7 targets, another game under your system, I like him a lot. And then with Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice, and Marcus Hollywood Brown to see limited or no action, I went with Nico Remingo, second-year player. Expected to get substantial playing time in the preseason game. He caught 2 passes for 16. I needed some Chiefs exposure, so I went with him. You know what I mean? It was kind of one of those ones, which Chiefs guy do you want? So I took a shot with good old Nico.
What about Tyquan Thornton, a young guy, lots of speed? They're saying he's essentially going to make the roster in Kansas City with the injuries. He ran a 4.28 at the combine. Maybe this kid gets a deep throw or two with the loss of Justin.
Or like Reed before, do some funky stuff to keep his team quote unquote engaged. Could that be a thing that he looks to do?
Andy Reid. I just avoided most Chiefs. We'll talk about the one Chief I actually played in the next position. A couple other guys. David Sills V, another Atlanta guy, had a catch last week. Apparently, he's looked really good in camp. He and Chris Blair both have been targets. Another guy, here's what I'm trying to avoid, because I cashed in most of my lineups last week and I had a 0 or 2. Everybody had a 0, right? You'd have this guy who got you a 0. I'm trying to avoid the zeros. One guy that I can really confidently play, and I might get a touchdown on one of these first 2 drives that he plays, Calvin Ridley for the Titans. Apparently, everything Cam Ward does is to Calvin Ridley. Even last week on that just one drive, he played 3 catches. I'm going to play Calvin Ridley. I'll take 2 catches for 30 yards. I'm fine with that. If I get 3 for 25 and a touchdown, even better. If I could just get 4 or 5 points, it's just not a 0. I think that you're getting an advantage over a lot of people, especially a 2-game preseason slate. Give me 2 solid drives where I know every time Cam Ward drops back to pass, he's not looking for anyone else but Calvin Ridley. I'm playing Calvin Ridley. He's in my lineup. What do you think about that?
And I think that's a great call. You hit the nail on the head with Jamar Chase in week 1. He had limited roles and he got it done. So, if Ward is going to be looking toward Ridley, and we've seen these rookie quarterbacks come in and just pepper their top guy, I think that's a great look. And again, if he scores a tutty, has 2 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown, DraftKings, that's 11 points, and you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, here's the deal. I could go try and get like a backup for Seattle that I think is going to play longer and get a 0. Or even if I get 2 catches, 21 yards, I just got 3.1. That's probably enough in the 2-game preseason slate. Honestly, this is the Wild West out here. It's a lot different. One other guy I want to mention from Seattle. They always love him in preseason. He's going to make the roster. They love him in Seattle. Jake Bobo. He's just a preseason darling. They like to get the ball to Jake Bobo. So I think he's someone you can look at as well. Let's go to the tight end position here. Tough Tough position. I think you and I ended up landing on this. I only have two guys I basically made notes on. Elijah Arroyo for Seattle. I think they'll get him involved. And Robert Tonyan. He's battling for that number 3 tight end spot with Jacob Wiley, I believe is his name. He had 1 catch and 2 targets in the preseason game. So Tonyan, and we know the Chiefs love to use their tight ends, especially in the red zone. Tonyan and Jacob Wiley are going to be getting looks there. Everyone else, I didn't bother with. If you want to go Okonkwo, like a starting tight end who could see some targets for Tennessee, I don't hate it. Other than that, I want nothing to do with any tight end on this board. Tonyan, Elijah Arroyo are the only 2. And Okonkwo would be like my honorary third option. Those are the only 3 I'd even consider. Am I missing somebody here?
No, I mean, I went with Bobby Tonyan as well. I mean, I'm a little gun shy of getting too cute after Fan put up a whopping 0 for the Browns last week.
He didn't even play in that game. They said he wasn't going to play. I told everyone he wasn't going to play. I literally said it 4 times.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's my bad, dude.
Yeah, Kelsey, I know. I kept getting asked about Noah Fant. I'm like, he's not playing. That's why.
Not Noah Fant. The rookie Harold Fant.
Oh yeah, Harold Fant Jr. Yes.
The rookie.
Yeah.
Kelsey and Gray expected to see no action for Kelsey, limited for Gray. Tonyan, veteran tight end, he's going to play a significant role. He led the tight end 3 catches for 49 yards last game. I think it's going to come back again because the tight end, they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And I mean, they're lining up Kelsey more and more on the outside, lining up Gray more and more in the backfield. I think Tonyan's going to be because of his blocking part of this role. So I'm going to go Robert Tonyan. That's the only guy I was really interested in. I like your Arroyo look too, because like you said, if he just does something on the first drive, you're going to cash because I look at it in this slate. If your tight end puts up 8 points, you've won the position.
Yeah. I think the highest scoring tight end, honest tonight, might be less than 5 points. So just trying to get something out of it. Tonyan, Jacob Wiley, Elijah Arroyo, and Okonkwo for the Titans on that early drive could be something here. Real quickly, we'll go over defenses, and then we're going to get the hell out of here for the weekend. We appreciate everyone watching, by the way. Please, we're going to be here regular season. We're going to have a Patreon set up where you can get all of our breakdowns and stacks and lineups and best bets, and I'll do all my UFC DFS we'll have in there, NASCAR on Saturdays after you get to watch the qualifiers. We're going to have a lot of stuff on there. It's going to be like $60 for the year. $5 for the week, something cheap like that. So keep that in mind. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button, all that good stuff. Defenses, again, gotten pretty lucky with defenses. We've been right so far. I went back to the Seahawks. You mentioned no starters are going to play for the Chiefs. Wet weather. And I don't know if you watched that preseason game last week. That stadium was live. They were loud. The crowd was loud in the preseason. So give me that home field sort of wet ball backup advantage for Seattle here and the crowd. That's sort of the angle I'm taking. I would rank the defenses for me. I would have Seattle at the top, and then I would probably have Atlanta second, Tennessee third, Chiefs fourth, somewhere in that range. What do you think?
I would have Seattle at the top, then a significant drop.
Yes, that's how I feel it is. That's how I feel it is too.
And then I agree with you. I would go Atlanta 2, Tennessee 3, and the Chiefs 4. I went with the Seahawks as well. You got a defensive-minded coach as your head coach. He's going to want to make sure that unit is solid and kicking, and their scheme is just elite. And when you're playing a team that's going to be playing a bunch of backups and in wet weather, it just makes all the sense in the world.
Completely agree. All right, we appreciate you guys again very, very much. If we have some weekday preseason next week, we'll of course run a show out for that. If not, we'll see you week 1. We're gonna have a ton of content for week 1. Obviously, the Thursday night, the Friday night, the Monday night, this main Sunday slate, all that good stuff. So please subscribe wherever you're watching, follow, all that good stuff. We will be back next week for myself and Eric. Have a great weekend, and of course, good luck.